Welcome to the Her Story Circle podcast, the podcast that brings you the extraordinary tales of everyday women who are changing the world. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Every week, we dive into the lives, challenges, and triumphs of women from all four corners of the globe. We're here to inspire, enlighten, and connect, sharing stories that uplift and empower. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we explore the incredible journeys of women shaping our future. This is Her Story, where every woman's voice matters. Good morning, everyone. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating woman. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, and share your story with us today.
Hi there, I'm Treva Brandon Scharf. I am an LA-based life and dating coach. I have an interesting story to tell about my long journey to marriage and everything that came before it. And I want to just sort of set the scene for you. I actually gave it away that I eventually did get married, but let's forget that for now. Let's set the scene. It's 2005. I'm 42 years old. I am not married, have never even been proposed to, never engaged. Okay, I am stone cold single at 42. I had just been dating and broke up with a guy at this time that I had pinned all my hopes on to marry me and make babies with me. And I was at a very low point when this all happened. And what made it so even more charged was that I had a midlife crisis. This was my biological clock going off. I was 42, single. I had just ended a relationship that I was hoping would go all the way. And I was sort of in the depths of despair. In this moment, I go to the movies with my friend, who actually was a documentary. Interestingly enough, it was about women who had chosen to get pregnant on their own. And up until this moment, I didn't know a biological clock. I mean, I knew my friends all were married. They were all having kids, but it didn't kind of matter because I rolled to my own beat. You know, I marched to the beat of my own drummer. I wasn't in a hurry. I wasn't ready. And then suddenly I hit 42 and the whole thing just blew up. And again, what made it just so much harder was that I was going through a breakup with a guy who cheated on me and sort of blew up all of my hopes and dreams. So here I am sitting in a theater with my friend, seeing this documentary. And I am crying. I am openly, I wasn't just crying. And it wasn't a sad story. It was a hopeful story. But it hit me so hard watching these women who had taken the leap to have kids on their own because relationships and marriage weren't happening. And so they took it upon themselves. And it was really a story of courage and bravery. And I am just bawling. And my friend looks to me and says, "Are you okay?" And I said, "No, I'm not." And she said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I forgot to have a baby." And it hit me in that moment, in that theater, at that age, that I had forgotten to have a baby. Tried to get married. That wasn't really working. And so now I'm stuck. Now I am what they call SOL. Okay. So after the movie, she says to me, "Hey, do you want to go get something to eat? We'll get a drink and we can talk about it." I said, "No, I can't. I got to go home. I got to go home and figure out how to knock myself up because there was work to do. I had to research. I had to find doctors. I had to locate sperm banks. I mean, this was like a full court press and a full-time job. And I should mention, I was a personal trainer at the time. So it was really just me, and I'm an only child. I have no siblings. I had just a wonderful group of friends that rallied around me during this time. But it was very intense, and that clock was just bang, 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 and every day that went by was another day missed. And I was very becoming aware, everything I was learning and reading, that yes, your fertility has an expiration date. And here I was through my 20s and 30s thinking, I have a ton of time, no problem. I'll just get married and have kids whenever. And I lost track of time. I just wasn't really intentional. I didn't have my hands really on the wheel, and I didn't have my eye on the prize until, yes, someone tapped me on the shoulder and said, you better get on the stick. So I did. And I launched into action doing all of the aforementioned plus. Okay. I found a Chinese acupuncturist. I was on herbs. I was on supplements, anything and everything to help my fertility, because as we all know, your eggs kind of go downhill at a certain age. And I could not have made this decision 1 minute sooner than I did, because it didn't occur to me. It just didn't hit me. It didn't hit me at 40. It didn't hit me at 38. I didn't have time to freeze my eggs. Every doctor I went to said, you got to go right now, like get pregnant right now. And so I remember having a party. I had like a sperm donor party where my friends all got in a circle and passed around these bios of these sperm donors that I had seen online, and we all picked one. It was kind of like online dating for sperm. It was crazy. So yes, I got my sperm. I found a doctor, and I got to work. And I should mention that I had told my parents, and they were so not approving. I mean, they were full condemnation. So at that point, I realized, I don't even have them. Okay. So this is going to become now the best kept secret, because I can't tell them. They're just not on board at all. And they made their displeasure very felt. Not that I needed them. So I took whatever support I could get and money that I had made, which, not easy when you're a trainer. And I did it. First, I started with IUIs, which are inseminations. Okay. I had 6. I should mention this was from beginning to end 3.5 years. In 3.5 years, I did everything. I moved heaven and earth. Okay. I moved mountains to do this. 6 IUIs, 6 inseminations, 3 rounds of IVF, a lot of sex in between that, I should mention. I had nice Samaritans, i.e. guys. I should mention, I didn't stop dating either. And these nice guys, well, they wanted to help me, and as long as they didn't have to pay for it, but, they would help me practice. So, yes, so sex, IUIs, 3 rounds of IVF. And then when that all wasn't working, and it was just failure, failure, failure. No, sorry, every call, when I'd see the doctor's name pop up, it was just brutal. It was like, just, stab me, and it was just terrible. I knew it was bad news. I did manage to get some eggs. I did manage, but then nothing stuck. And I got so desperate at the end. My Hail Mary moment was when I recruited a 20-year-old cousin from Florida to come out, give me her eggs. They did an embryo transfer with her eggs, and that didn't work either. So at the end of the day, I drained my savings. I put my body through hell, and I just knew it was time to stop. I had to quit. And I am not a quitter. I'm an athlete, lifelong athlete. I was in the fitness business. I am now a coach, a life and dating coach. And I am a go-getter, and I teach my clients and myself just to keep push through the pain. But there was a moment where I thought, I can't do this anymore. And I didn't want to adopt. And so I had to get closure. And what helped me get closure was pride, actually, because after everything I had done, after moving heaven and earth, right, I had to feel proud of myself because I took it on and I have no regrets, even though it did not yield a baby. Okay. It did yield some other really wonderful things. Because after that experience, after those 3.5 years of putting my body through hell and lying and spending all my money, I did something else appeared. Okay. And I was stronger. It was a stronger me, smarter, stronger, more intentional, clearer, more serious about men and life and my future. Okay. The whole thing was worth it because it kind of kicked my ass and it made me live differently. And here's what I learned. Okay. Life does not give you opportunities on a platter. Very rarely are they perfect, but you know what? It's kind of on you to make the best of what your moments are, right? To take those opportunities. And like I said, I'm in the motivation business and I'm all for effort. That is who I am. I do the work. I make the effort. Okay. So, we're kind of moving on here. So but in the effort, I also, along with effort, I learned to surrender. And that was as powerful as effort. And I tell my clients that I live by that motto. I have no regrets. I'm glad I did it. The baby quest was not successful. But once that door closed, another one opened. A few years later, I ended up meeting my husband, getting married at 51. And I have to say, the Rolling Stones song is so true. You can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need.
Wow, Treva, thank you so much for sharing your story. Our episode today was all about rethinking motherhood without kids, and it sounds like you went on a roller coaster ride to
Yes.
attempting to be a mom and it didn't work out. Now, what was the biggest emotional challenges that you faced during your fertility journey?
Oh, my body, please, body, perform for me. Like, deliver for me. Give me those eggs. Give me those. I know I've got 42 now, 43-year-old eggs. Please, please, please stay healthy, stay vital, right? I was always having these conversations with myself. Hang in there just before you get old. And I remember that was a big conflict for me, that my body wasn't doing what I needed it to do.
Yeah, that's got to be traumatic. Now, how did you navigate the stigma of being a single mother by choice at that time?
Okay, so, but I wasn't. I did do the part of the research and the work and the preparation was joining a group, a national group called Single Mothers by Choice. They are awesome. We call ourselves SMCs. They were my tribe. They were my people. They showed me the way. But and a lot of them had been successful. They had kids. It was awesome. We'd have these meetings. They'd bring their kids. It was so inspiring. That's a very important part of it, the support system.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, your parents didn't approve. What role do their disapproval play in shaping your determination, do you think?
Oh, it just made me go harder. Are you kidding? That's all you need to say to me is you can't do it. Well, hello, wrong words. So no, I went for it. I know I said the word full court press. That was it. Don't stop me now.
Yeah. I know you said that you've had zero regrets and you had to reach a point of surrender. Now, a lot of women would live in anguish for the rest of their lives, regretting that they didn't have a baby. What was it? Where do you find that in yourself to surrender to what has happened so you can let go?
Great question. This really has a lot to do with faith and trust and the courage to release the death grip, as I call it. Take your hands off the wheel. It's okay. You can just let go. You did your best. I know that I had. There was nothing more I could do. And I relate the same to my dating life. I could not have been a more wonderful person. By the time I met my husband, actually the relationship that had ended right before I met my husband, I remember saying to him, "Do you love me?" Because he hadn't said, "I love you." And he said, well, he kind of hemmed and hawed, and well, it's just love is not a priority for me. And I said, well, here's what, I am 49 years old. If you don't love me now, and we've been together 6 months, I've been nothing but awesome. If you don't love me now, I don't think you're ever going to love me. And that's okay. And goodbye. And I ended that. And a few months later, I met Robbie. So there is surrender, letting go anywhere, everywhere you can. You will know you are not quitting. You are with strategy, strategically, when you know that you're banging your head against the wall, or there's a moment you need to have with yourself. Is this continued journey serving me? Or is this relationship serving me? Anything. And then you let go.
Wow. Yeah. So when something is not serving you, that's really your cue to letting go of what it is you're holding on to.
It is, again, I mentioned it, I'm in the motivation business. I am a lifelong athlete. I am a coach, was a trainer, and now a coach. I believe in the effort, man. I believe in doing the work, stepping up, showing up. Okay. But boy, after that, you need to learn to let go.
Yeah.
That is just as important. It's almost like you can go to the gym and work out and work out and work out. But if you don't give yourself a rest, if you do not build in rest days, you will be doing a disservice to your body. And I feel the same way about anything. There just has to come a point where you say, I've given it all. I'm proud of myself. And now I'm going to surrender. I am going to leap and let the net appear. That's all you can do. That's such an important piece of the equation.
That is so true. So how did this experience change your understanding of courage and resilience?
I always knew I had it. Okay. So I didn't find that so much as I used it in a different way. I just repackaged it. I mean, I'm an only child, as I mentioned. I'm a latchkey child, and single for many, many years. I'm used to being on my own. I'm used to doing it for myself. I'm used to going solo. I used all of those skills to do this job. Okay. And so that was easy. I think what came of it, again, was I'm more focused on the future. I now, because I had let all those years go, that was the regret. But even then I couldn't regret, because should I done it 10 years earlier? Of course I should have, but I didn't. So I took the opportunity that was given to me in that moment, and I tried to knock myself up.
Man. Now, after all this has happened, you went on to create an interesting and magical life. Now you're coaching women to date. You got married after the age of 50. Tell us about that experience.
So I applied everything I am talking about now to my pregnancy, my baby quest, to love, because there are many parallels. It is the same. It's really just the same. It is putting forth effort. It's doing the work. It's showing up, stepping up. Okay. And then, okay, here we go. I'm going to assume that the universe will bring me what I need. I can't sweat it anymore. I can't beat myself anymore. If the right guy's going to come, he's going to come. And if he never comes, that's okay too.
Yes.
No, I can't be mad at myself. And that's what I did. I let go. I just sort of detached from the outcome. And I figured, well, marriage is not, I guess I'm not marriage material. I turned 50. I still wasn't married. And then I met my husband the day of my birthday on my 50th.
Oh, I love it. Again, you use the same principles of letting go, and then what you wanted manifested. That's absolutely fascinating. So if you were to speak to a woman right now who's over 50, is on a quest to find love like you were, what advice would you give for her to get her dream life and her dream man or woman, whatever the case may be?
So by 50, I'm going to assume you have a beautiful, full life already. Okay. And that's great. You have to be able to be alone with yourself. And you probably will, you have created this gorgeous life with friends and family and a pet and pets and whatever and hobbies. Excellent. That's what you should do. Okay. The second thing I would say is it's never too late and you're never too old. Okay.
Yes.
So here's what, in the process, my father had a saying, and I think it's something John Lennon said, that life is what happens to you while you're making plans.
Yeah.
And love happens to you while you're making plans. And I'm sorry, I know there are a lot of especially younger women that don't want to hear, well, it happens when you least expect it. Well, sorry, it does. It does. But the pieces you have put into place. Okay. So that's the difference. It's not like, you just suddenly roll out of bed and there's love knocking on your door. No, we have to do our part, right?
Yes.
Right. You have to, the better you become, the better you will choices you'll make and the better the people. And it's a chain reaction.
I love it. That's absolutely awesome. Now, can you share a success story from a client whose life transformed through your coaching?
Yes. So I have a local story, and I do most of my coaching sessions on Zoom, but there are a few here in LA that I've had the pleasure of meeting and hugging and hanging out with. And so the one local here, she was really dragging her feet. She was 64 when I met her, widow, very successful family law attorney. Doesn't really need a man, had, I think, a marriage, maybe a divorce, or I think her husband passed, and then she had a couple not great relationships. And she was frustrated, and she made up all these excuses. I'd say to her, are you on the app? Did you get on? Did you get on? No, I'm busy. No, I have a case. No, I have a prenup. No, I can't. And then finally I went over to her house and I grabbed her phone. I said, this is it. You're dragging your feet. You are doing this to yourself. I'm taking charge now. So I got her on Bumble, put up a profile, and we started swiping. And I saw some guy who, amongst his many photos, took a picture of his socks, these crazy socks, like his feet with socks on. And I thought, oh, I like you. So I pretended to be her. And I said, hi, Lori here. And they've been together 3 years, and that was the start. And I'm going to take some little credit for that. The second one, and they're both in LA. The second one, a woman who lives in Texas, and she had been in a 15-year marriage and was cheated on and was very reluctant to get back out there. She had a ton of scar tissue, as I call it, a lot of trauma, a lot of, so afraid to open her heart again and be disappointed and potentially hurt. So I worked with her for 6 months, got her up to speed, built some good resilience and some motivation, and had some beautiful pictures. Did the whole thing, got her on Hinge. First week, I'm telling you, in the first few days, she meets a guy. She had made all of these dates. Of course, she's a good-looking woman, and she got a lot of action. So she was lining the dates up, and one of them in particular kind of stood out. He was the first date she had, and the last.
Oh, wow.
And that was the beginning of the summer. They're still going strong. I wish she had sort of slowed down a little bit and kind of got the lay of the land, but hey, you know what? It happened. She's happy. The LA client is happy, and I guess I've done my job.
Oh, that's fantastic. That is awesome to hear. So what is the core philosophy behind your coaching practice? And how does it differ from others that are out there in the industry?
Well, so that's a great question. I saved the online, the dating stuff really towards the end of the program because that's almost the easy stuff. And I do all that. Like I just said, I help you get your pictures taken. I help write your bio. I hold your hand through the whole process. I help curate your matches. I help compose text messages. But there's a ton of work that happens before that. Okay. So I like to call it one part dating coaching, one part personal growth, because, especially by a certain age, you've had some disappointment. You've had a divorce. There is some baggage. I teach you how to wear your baggage like a beautiful Hermes bag. Okay. I teach you how to wear your pain, your past pain, like gorgeous jewelry. I teach you how to own it and wear it and, let it make you who you are. That is kind of at the core of my work.
Right.
So I just kind of tell people who they are and I get them reacquainted with themselves. And then we kind of go from there.
I love it. So you're really working on building people's, I guess, self-esteem, getting women to really love themselves again before they go out there and find love from someone else, correct?
Well, I have a little problem with that saying, you have to love yourself first before you can love anybody else. We've heard that a million times. I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know if anybody can truly, totally love themselves. I mean, we're only human, right? But so I think not maybe, okay, yes, if you can love yourself, fantastic. More than that, though, believe in yourself. Now we're talking. Believe in yourself. If you have more than anything, more than confidence or charisma, if you have conviction about who you are and what you have to offer,
that's where the magic
all right,
comes.
There you go. And that's what I help people with, men and women. And I have to say, there have been times where I have more men clients than women, because this is universal. This is universal, all this stuff. There are no pickup tricks. Yes, and I do that too. And we talk about flirting and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, okay, it's really you. It is right time. It's right place. It's right person. It's right state of mind is really kind of at the core of everything.
So what are the biggest challenges that your clients bring to you, and how do you help them overcome those barriers?
We are living in very strange dating times, Gertrude, if you didn't know. It is really tough out there. It can be very disrespecting and hurtful, and people have they're online, they mistreat people, they ghost, they don't call when they should, they don't, I mean, there's all just a ton of bad behavior. That's new. That's kind of new for people of people of a certain age. They're not used to that. Okay. At least, I'm 62. When I was single, there was a modicum of respect and etiquette and decency and civility. I think we're having a little trouble with that these days. So yes, I got to get people kind of girded, to prepare for what's out there. There are going to be a lot of non-starters. There are going to be a lot of no-shows and one-hit wonders, and that's dating. That's dating anyway, but it comes at you faster when you're on the dating app. So yes, there's a total, you got to really acclimate to dating apps.
That's so true. It is a challenging space. So where do you see your coaching business evolving in the next 5 years? And what legacy do you hope to leave through your work?
Again, great question. Where is the dating world going? My fear is AI.
Yeah.
That's my fear. Is AI going to replace us? Is it going to replace solid dating advice? Are you going to take advice from a machine or from someone who was single for 50 years and can speak with authority on it, who has walked in your shoes? AI has not walked in your shoes. They don't know. I do. So I'm going to get out as much wisdom as I can. I'm going to just share as much as I know. I'm also a real fan of love. I mean, I'm beating the drum every day. Please people, don't opt out. Stay in it, right? Don't give up. I do have interesting feelings about quitting, since I'm a kind of a fan of quitting too, which is what I did, but I didn't really give up. That's the other thing. So you can quit, but don't give up on love. I feel like me and a handful of people are like these old school, OG dating people that still believe. And I do. I just love love. I love romance. I love courtship. I love the traditions. It pains me to see them go. And I feel like I'm just yelling into a, echo sometimes. So that's my fear. My legacy will be this. My legacy will have been, I fought for it. I'm begging people, stay in it. And because it's worth it. It is 1000% worth it, with the pain and the torture.
So give our audience 3 pieces of advice before we finish the interview. Those who are out there on a quest, what advice would you give? I've got your website at the bottom of the screen so they can find you.
So is this in regards to getting pregnant, having babies, or just
life in general?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so as we were speaking, I'm a big believer in effort. I am all for it. You just do what you have to do and do it with as much as you got, okay? But then there comes a point where you have to let go, okay? You have to just say, I did it, I'm surrendering, because that is the magic, all right? This is where the magic happens. It's a combination. It's at the intersection of active effort combined with the randomness of life, right? And in there somewhere lies serendipity, okay? And we don't know when that's going to come. We just do our best. We're good people. We continue to feel good about ourselves, and so we can sleep at night. And then the rest is a little bit out of your control. I mean, I'm all for making things happen, but love, by the sweat of your brow, you can make a ton happen by the sweat of your brow. Love, manifesting it, yes, we have some control, but after that, you have to have some faith, okay? Because here's what, you're going to have a great life. If a great guy or woman doesn't show up, a great life will, okay? So that's the prize. And in that time, the happier you are being single, chances are you won't be single for much longer.
Treva, thank you so much for coming online and sharing your wisdom with our community today. Absolutely wonderful to have you with us.
Thank you so much. This has been such a treat. Thank you. And you were wonderful, and you asked great questions.
Thank you. And thank you to everybody who tuned in. The Her Story Circle is not just a podcast. We're a social impact movement that brings you the stories and voices of women from all over the world. We share these stories to uplift you, to inspire you, to energize you, but most importantly, to help take you from where you are now to where you're trying to go. So tune in again tomorrow when I interview yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world, and bye for now. Thanks again, Treva.
Thank you so much, and thank you to your audience for tuning in.
Bye for now, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning into the Her Story Circle podcast. I hope today's story has inspired you to believe in the power of our stories and the difference you can make in the world when you use your voice. I'm Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a rich tapestry of diverse perspectives. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these stories with more listeners. Follow us on social media by looking for the Her Story Circle podcast for more updates. And join us tomorrow for another episode filled with courage, resilience, and empowerment. Remember, your story matters, and together we're building a stronger, more inclusive world. Until next time, keep making her story. Thank you so much.